Hi Ike, can you encourage people who are studying English? I recently took the TOEIC test and I messed it up! I like that you put it in sparkles. But I'm improving thanks to IkeEveland. Hey! I hear that a lot, that people are taking the TOEIC exam and they're improving their scores to watching IkeEveland. So, big props for that. I'm sure that if you keep this up, you're gonna get even better. Hey, just don't have it just be IkeEveland. Diversify. There's other VTubers. You can even watch movies and shows too. But the thing about English is, even if you mess up on a test, doesn't necessarily mean that, oh no, I'm bad at English. A test only tests you how grammatically perfect you are on English. It tests your grammar and it tests your vocab. Communication is something entirely different. Even if your English is far from perfect, maybe you make a lot of mistakes, doesn't really matter in terms of communication, because if you're talking to somebody that isn't being a jerk, then you can still hold a perfectly understandable conversation, even if you're both making mistakes. Native speakers make mistakes to them amongst each other all the time. So that's how I like to see languages. Don't always focus on getting a high score. If you get a high score, then great. That's a good metric to sort of gauge your improvement. But the main point, the main fun part for me is realizing when you're, oh my god, I'm doing better when talking to someone. That's when it's like, oh my god, I'm improving. Passion English, that's yeah, exactly. Passion. If you want to use passion in English, that's fine. You can still have fun. And that is a way to learn. A lot of my... Oh, this is gonna sound terrible, but a lot of the speaking practice that I got in the beginning, even though I knew English fairly well, I didn't get to speak it a lot. Wanna know when I started speaking English a lot for the first time? Xbox Live. I'm not even joking. You sound so fluent. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm maybe fluent, but I wouldn't say that I am native level, and far from native level. There's a big difference between a native speaker and me. I think the gap between native and fluent is actually pretty large. That's just my 2 cents on it. Let me just finish eating this. I think you're as a native as myself. I'm very flattered, but there are many times where I look at words and I'm like, what the hell does this mean? It happened today. Sometimes when I'm just reading game dialogue, I will look at a word and be like, the hell does this mean? Or how do I pronounce it? Doesn't matter if you mess up, as long as you're able to sort of keep your conversations going and make friends, be able to understand things and communicate. That's what's the biggest W in my book. So even if a test score says, you didn't quite pass, try again next time. If you go home and watch a movie in English without subtitles and are fine, that test doesn't really mean much. It's not a gauge of how good you are at the language, it's how good you are at the language in the way that they want you to. There's even arguments that happen amongst native speakers in English. For example, there's regional things, slang, and accents, and alternative spellings. For example, I spell color with a U. A lot of the world doesn't. Because I'm European, I spell color with a U. So there are many times where I have typoed any color when talking to staff. Whenever I want to say any color, I misspell it with a U. Because any color is spelled without a U. この番組はIkeEvelandの提供でお送りします。やる気が出ない、やる気が出ない、布団から出られない。